Hi, I'm Steve Walters, and with me today we have
Matt DeMeo here, otherwise known as Uncle Matt from my YouTube channel, Be Smarter, Faster.
And speaking of being smarter and faster and wiser and all that fun stuff, today you're going to learn 6 new tips on last minute studying. And Matt happens to be an expert in quite a few of these areas. So Matt, I was trying to remember that thing. What's that thing called when we wait too long to do stuff?
When you're waiting too long and you're putting it off, you're not an amateur procrastinator, you're a procrastinator.
Procrastinator. Thank you so much. So here's some things about procrastination. Since we're talking about studying tips, we are at the end of a school semester, so we want to focus more on exams and final projects. One of the biggest things I can recommend as a college teacher, I want you to double check your due dates. Always, always, always double check, because the first week of school, you checked all your due dates in your syllabus. If you read your syllabus, and you better have, I know my students do, and you saw it was whatever the date is. Well, that's in your memory. And if your memory is not as good because you didn't take Matt's classes and his courses and all his seminars on memory, you probably didn't remember it right. You thought it was noon on Tuesday, when in fact, it was Monday at 10 a.m. Oops, you missed that exam. Not only will you be a procrastinator, you're going to be a failure. And we do not want that. The name of my channel is Success is the Goal for a Reason. Be successful, not failing. Some other things that come into procrastination is how you manage your time. And Matt, what's one of the first things a student should do when they're preparing in this time period?
It's not just time management, it's priority management, because you've got stuff in your life that's urgent, that's got to be taken care of, your day-to-day tasks. And then you've got stuff that's super important, where those two converge, where you have urgent and important. That is the stuff that you really need to prioritize at the highest level. Forget all of the other million things that you've got going on. When it's down to the wire, you really need to prioritize what your time is going towards. One of the biggest reasons that people procrastinate is you're visualizing a negative outcome. And if you're visualizing a negative outcome, you're going to do everything in your power to avoid that situation. And that is really what's behind your procrastination and your hesitancy to get going. So an easy thing to do is change your mindset.
I like that. Changing the mindset. Mindset's everything. I have a program called the Motivation Meter. Actually, it's not a program. It's a design that I came up with. I have one that goes in 10% increments. And the very bottom of that motivation meter, and I'll leave a link to the description how you can get that PDF on my channel in this video too. I'll leave that for you. It's a free PDF. You can download it. Is I won't. And if you say I won't, there is 0% chance of you ever succeeding in anything, because I won't means you're just not trying. We want to get you to that 100% mark where you said, I did it. Yes. And then what do? What's next?
So we're each going to give 3 tips. Here's my first tip, and that is take sample tests.
Ooh,
and so listen, learning does not happen when you're putting information into your head. Learning doesn't happen by reading and rereading your textbooks and rereading your notes. Learning only happens when you take the information that you've got inside and you get it out of you. That is why you have to take exams. Now, the very best way to practice and prepare for last-minute tests is to take as many of them as you can. So a good way to find them is ask your professor for past tests. Sometimes you can ask upperclassmen. Now, Steve, I'll bet that you've got some resources where people can take past exams. What's your take on that topic?
One of the best places that we can go on a university is to that place called a library, where there's a librarian. And the librarian is an expert. You walk up to that person and say, I need help with this class for exams. And they go, hold on, go over to that computer, sign in, and I'll have it in your email in 2 seconds. It's called a live guide. That live guide is designed by teachers and past students. And let's just say there's 1,000 people that have taken that course already, that have taken that same final. And let's say 250 of them, 25%, put notes up online. Wow, you have 250 extra brains putting information of what they think and what they thought they had to study for. That is a huge, huge tip. Live guides.
What's next?
So I want to go over PowerPoints real quick. I got a whole shelf of textbooks over here, and I can tell you, where is it? These right here, if I had to read through those, page 1 through page 400 or 500, it takes a long time to read. And what are you reading for? How long does it take to actually review 500 pages? Way too long. Now, here's a trick. What I recommend is this, and I teach a little mini course on this. Take a timer and read a page of text, just one page of text. Just see how long it takes to read. Be realistic. If it says 2 minutes and 35 seconds and you have 100 pages to read, we got some issues. That's a lot more time than you probably have, especially around finals. A lot of teachers, including myself, we use PowerPoints. That condenses that material down so far. You got to go for it. And it should be available to you online, or maybe the teacher sent it out to you.
So on the idea of condensing down your notes by using PowerPoints, I've got something, one of my tips is kind of dovetails into that. And as you've seen, I've been using note cards, and that is my tip. Use note cards. Take your notes from all of the different sources that you may have had. Maybe you've got them in notebooks, or you've got them on scrap paper, or you've got them in your computer. Even if you are organized and you've got them all in a really nice, neat notebook, actually taking the time to distill it down into a question and answer type of a format on a note card gives you your own flashcards. And so the nice thing about having note cards is that they tuck easily into a jacket pocket, jeans pocket, a handbag, or a purse. They're very, very convenient. And whether you're waiting for an Uber or a bus or somebody to serve your triple espresso at whatever your favorite coffee bar is, in odd moments, you can just take them out and get yourself really well prepared.
I like that. Now, should we use those notes alone, or should we maybe do that in a group?
So your third tip now has to do with study groups. That's interesting because so does mine. So let's hear what you've got to say on the subject.
All right. So study buddies. Study buddies are awesome. As long as everybody shows up to the party going in the same direction, moving forward, always staying on topic. And think about it this way. If your time is worth $100 an hour, are you going to waste a half hour of it? You're going to throw away $50 just talking about idle stuff like, hey, what's up? Have you checked out the latest social media stuff? Put the phones down, shiny side down. Now, working in groups, Matt can help out with this a lot too.
Well, here's what I suggest. If you really want to get the maximum use out of your study group, each of you make up your own final exam. Let's say you're expecting, 25 questions on it, whatever. Show up with 25 of your own questions. First of all, creating the exam is an exercise in itself because it forces you to put yourself in the mind of the professor, guessing what it is that they're going to include on that upcoming exam. And then when 3 other students that are in that same class as you do the same thing, now you'll see where you have a consensus, what questions you all had in common, and maybe you have some outlying questions. Let me tell you, this is a top 1% strategy. If you want to know a strategy that the top 1% of producers and performers use, that's it right there.
I'm going to go with that. If I was still doing my master's work, I would definitely, and I've done study groups.
What's next?
Probably not a good idea to do all-nighters. I used to do all-nighters when I was many, many moons ago. They're bad, very bad. Don't do them because first of all, the brain needs rest. And when you wake up, you're stressed, you're in a fog. Oh, wait, did I say wake up? I meant passed out before and you miss your exam. Yeah. And then you have to do the 5-minute mile across campus. Been there, done that, did it, never did it again. I learned one time. That's all it took, one time. And then back in my day, they used to close the doors and lock them and you didn't get in. Please don't do all-nighters. It's really bad. I know there's some great energy drinks out there. We don't promote those, but coffee definitely, but don't do it at night. Get some sleep. Okay. It's really, really important to come in fresh. All right. Let's talk about self-care real quick. I think this is an important part, especially at the semester ending. A lot of people are very stressed, including teachers towards the end of a semester. It's been a long 14, 15 weeks. One of the things I tell my students, and I try not to do, is don't look at the news the week of finals. There are some horrific things going on that really can put us in a negative mood. The aura around us just gets nasty. It's just, if you had an aura reader, they'd be like, ah. The other thing is stay off social media during finals. If you want to say, hey, got an exam, I'm really worried, can somebody help me? Fine, that's different, but don't get involved in the, what would be a good word for that, Matt?
The drama.
The drama.
So you gave some ideas about things not to do. Let me give you some things about what you should do. So number one, get a little bit of moderate exercise. I'm not talking about you have to go to the gym and work out, but take a walk, do a few push-ups, do a couple of jumping jacks. You want to get your heart rate up a little bit. You want to get your blood circulating, and you'll be surprised how it'll pull you out of that stuff. Change your posture. I do this demonstration in one of my videos called Get in the Mood to Study. Watch this. Look at how inconsistent this is. Slump your shoulders forward, put your head down on your chest, and go, I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
How about this one? Put your hands up in the air like you're going to do the jump in Rocky when he's at the museum, and you're jumping around and go, I'm depressed. It's ridiculous.
I can do that. I'm depressed.
I'm depressed. I'm depressed. It's stupid.
I love it.
But what happens is if you change your posture, you will change your mood, and you can help get rid of a lot of the negative energy inside of you. And one last thing is breathe. Doing deep cleansing breath, especially right before the exam. If you're stressed out at night because you've been studying, do some deep breathing before you go to bed. You want to clear your thoughts and do some deep breathing. I know it may sound corny or too simple. The truth is, sometimes simple is best because it really does work.
There's one more thing. Since we communicated with you, we want you to communicate with others. If you're having stressful issues, you contact your university, you talk to the advisors. They might be a little booked right now, but reach out to people. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm stressed. However, don't use excuses. Make sure you avoid them the best you can. I think the best thing for everybody to do right now is go back, replay, and pick out things that you have. Check out our descriptions in both our channels and see what we put in there for you, because some of those resources are really good. And make sure you watch this video next, because this is the one that YouTube thinks that you'll get the most out of. Until we see you again, we'll see you online soon. Good luck with your exams.